Hi, welcome back. My name is Miki Hughes. This is Over the Edge. It's a podcast about anxiety. So today, I have this is really exciting. I have Neema Nazeri. He's a comedian. He's an actor. He's a TikToker. He's got like the world's greatest mom. If you've been following him on TikTok or on Instagram Reels, and I will bring him up right now. Hi,
Hey,
how's it
yeah,
going? Yeah.
great. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me, Mickey. It's a pleasure and an honor, and I'm glad to be labeled as a TikToker finally. I've been waiting my whole life to be a TikToker, and I finally made it. So thank you for
There you go. You're like, why did you want to hurt me before you brought me up? That's I actually put
that.
I actually put social media influencer, which is what
Oh
I
God,
probably should have said, but I don't
yeah,
you
probably.
are. Are you kidding? How
I
many
am, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. I mean, in a like, yeah, technically I am, but like, I just don't like being like I guess labeled that because so there's such a negative connotation behind social media influencers, especially these days. But like in a way, I am. You're right. So,
but but not for Canadians because we don't make any money on it. So
oh,
it's
for sure.
just it's literally like we would be content creators or basically just
Yeah,
giving our time for free. If there was money attached to it, I think there would be more of a negative connotation with it anyway. But
probably. Yeah. I mean,
uh,
like there is you can monetize by taking brand deals and promotions and all that bullshit, or like even like private gigs or stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of people don't know that, so
yeah.
makes sense.
So yeah, well, I think started TikTok probably around the same time. Did you start for the same reasons? Was it because of COVID?
No, I had it a year before COVID happened. Actually,
Oh, okay, then
I
that
was jumped on the wagon right away.
oh, then
Um,
that would be embarrassing. No, I'm just
it
totally
would
like
be.
joking.
No, it's definitely immersive.
No,
No, I don't know. I've always just been really savvy on these apps that have been coming and going over the past like 10 years. Even though they're super cringe for the most part, but you know what? It's
you
fun.
know what? They're fun, and you have your mom involved
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. That is
Surprisingly,
awesome.
yeah,
She is
yeah.
like the quintessential. Like I don't know if she's playing a role when she does that, or is that who she is? She's just very.
No,
She's so mom. She should
she's
have her
so
own
mom.
TikTok. She should
I know,
have.
right?
She should.
Everyone tells me that. Everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, your mom has to have her own page." Every day, I'm getting hounded. It's like,
Yeah,
please make your mom her own page. I'm like, all right, okay, relax, relax. I will.
you
So,
watch her pass you.
yeah, I know, right? For sure, she would.
Uh, do you feel that you're going to be like inundated now with stuff with everything opening up that you're going to be doing comedy and social media?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing is with me, people think, okay, there's people see me right now online and they think a couple things. One, oh, this guy's a clown, like he's not funny, or he's like, oh, he just does videos online. He's not a comedian. Or some people think that like I just started like 2 years ago. Like I've been doing all of this from stand up to acting to sketch
Acting.
comedy to content creation from 2014.
Yeah,
I've been
you're
doing
a
this for
veteran.
7 years. Like I've been, yeah, like, well, I mean, yeah, maybe, yeah, I guess. I'd say that's just my whole job is doing it all. So, um, yeah, I've been a content creator, comedian, actor, like all that stuff from the very beginning. Like it's never been like one after the other. It's all just been at once, all of it. So,
I was embarrassed at first when I started doing TikTok, and then people found out that I was on TikTok, and I
uh,
thought the people that drag you because of like YouTube, TikTok, any like Instagram, any of that
right,
stuff,
yeah,
it is the new comedy. It is comedy. It's valid.
yeah, it
It's
is, yeah.
valid, and you are very funny. You're making people laugh,
Thank you.
obviously, but you
Yeah.
probably do you tune into like the two negative comments and then dwell on those like
No, never. No. At the very beginning, maybe, but even then, like, I had such a strong passion and just kind of drive to be so good at this craft that
yeah,
I literally told myself nothing can stop me. Like, nothing can get in my way because I chose this life. So,
yeah.
yeah, that was
That's
the mindset I've
awesome.
always had. Yeah.
I do not. I don't give a crap. I like the negative comments. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know. Like if you would have asked me 2 years ago, would I have been able to handle it? I would have said no. But I started
Mm,
because of COVID, and then I had no
right.
idea that I would actually have kind of a thick skin about it.
Right.
Um, yeah.
Exactly.
So talk a little bit about like where's your obviously your performance wasn't affected, but were you
Mm.
affected personally by having the stage ripped away and just having to concentrate online?
Yes and no. In in a general sense, I overall was neglecting my life, just regardless of the pandemic or not. So the pandemic actually was a blessing in disguise for me because because I was just doing stand up really before the pandemic hit. I was doing obviously content online still, but I was mostly focused on stand up at the time, doing mini tours around like the cities and like in Canada here and there. But like I was completely neglecting my personal life, which is something that is super important if in order to actually do well in your career as well, right? So when the pandemic hit, I had no choice but to stay at home with my brother and my parents, and luckily I had an opportunity to finally, for once in my life, actually like sit down and not be outside trying to do gigs and busting my ass for like shitty open mics, and just focus on my health and my mental health, my physical health, my my habits, and that was like a big turning point, a TSN turning point in my life where it just shifted everything and it made my
Well,
life really much better.
what was the biggest positive change?
Oh, my lifestyle with food.
Okay.
I've always been like addicted to food. Like I've had a food addiction. Like obviously I'm not even gonna
I wasn't
sugarcoat
going
it.
to bring
Like
it up, but you've lost a lot of weight.
yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I would.
it's
You
yeah.
would like, whoa,
You
you
were
look great.
a you were a fat fuck before,
Yeah, I
but
know.
now you're like less fat fuck. No, you're right. Like, I did. Yeah, I was at like 375 at some point a couple years back, and now I'm at like 300. But like, I got to 270, but gained a little bit back over this like past year. Just, but it's only natural weight to be honest, because I'm actually eating the best I've ever eaten. I'm taking care of myself the best I have, and I feel the best I've ever felt. So, um, uh, I got to for once focus on like what I'm eating, and like I really changed the way I eat and looked at food, and that also sparked many other things that I was working on, like having a prop like my sleep was always fucked. I always stayed up till 3, 4, 5 a.m. and woke up at 12, 1, 2 p.m. It was completely backwards, and it was sloppy. It was lazy,
Do you
and
drink? Do you?
no,
Oh,
and those are actually a couple of things I don't do. Is like I don't smoke or drink or do drugs and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with that stuff either, like to a certain extent. But like, yeah, I never did any of that stuff. Luckily, otherwise I'd be even more fucked. Trying to like fix those, but so I'm lucky that
yeah.
I have.
I didn't have to kick a meth addiction, so
Yeah, yeah. At least
bonus.
I'm yeah. McDonald's, meth, which one's worse? Um, both pretty bad. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
equal.
I finally got to a point where I was like, well, because I also got to a point where I also developed a thyroid condition, a hypothyroidism, which means it's an autoimmune disease called Hashimoto's disease, and it's like it's nothing contagious or that severe really. It's just it means just it's my body's kind of like against me when I eat certain things. So it's like if I eat gluten or drink beer or stuff like that are just high in sugars, it really affects my immune system. And so that was the turning point as well. It was like all happened at the same time where I'm like, okay, well, this is unacceptable. I can't let it get past this. And so before I become pre-diabetic, diabetic, you know what I mean? The list goes on. And that was just like I shifted my mindset about everything, and I was like, yeah, this needs to change, or else I'm gonna fold. How am I gonna? The way I looked at it was, how if I'm not 100% in my personal life, how do you expect me to be 100% in my career? And so that made it very clear for me. And
This is
yeah,
amazing. I love emotionally balanced comedians. You're so rare. I've got a completely different question list. No, I'm
oh
just kidding.
yeah,
I don't. No, but
yeah, thank you,
that
appreciate it.
you can't tell. I can't tell. I can't. I when I watch performers online, even with Zoom, like I can't tell where they're at. I've
Yeah,
spoken to some people just thinking, oh, this is going to be, and now it's it's
They're
just
all
not
over the
exactly what
place.
I thought. Did you do any
100%.
Zoom comedy?
No, I did it once and I hated it. And I realized it's just a waste of time, in my opinion,
I
because
did it twice. At the very
mm,
end, I caved just because I wanted to know,
do
but
something. Yeah.
yeah, because I wanted to do something. I thought, okay, well, and then I finally do it, and it's like, oh, the world's opening up. I was like,
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of counterproductive, to be honest. It's like it takes away from the art form of stand up itself.
mm-hmm.
And I just didn't appreciate it. I didn't value it as much as I do with other shit. Like, I'm like, I'd rather just spend more time working on my videos rather than doing these random Zoom comedy gigs. Like, it's not real comedy. So, yeah, I stay away from that stuff, to be honest.
Okay, wow.
But
What impact do you think COVID has had permanently on our scene? On the, I mean, other than the outside shows now, which I haven't done either.
yeah, I think it actually has weeded out a lot of the bad comedians. Like, not I'm not saying I'm not
Yeah.
shitting on anyone. It's just that like there was a lot of saturation and everyone just like taking spots when like, and I get it. Like, if you're an amateur, you're sort of starting out, you do need to do something to get better, right?
Mm.
But there was a lot of just people who are just also like not doing it for the right reasons. They were just causing disturbances within the scene all the time, or like just drama and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of those people kind of weeded out because they obviously realized, okay, well, I'm never gonna make it in this industry, and there's a lot of people who quit. So, and I think that definitely permanently, and also it changed the idea around stand-up shows. I think like for a while, it's not gonna get to a point where it's gonna be packed clubs, at least here in Canada. And the
Mhm.
states they're doing that, which is I personally think is great, but um, over here in Canada, it definitely affected all that stuff. And I feel like maybe from the customer point of view, like the audience point of view, comedy fans, maybe it's shifted their mindset to okay, now that maybe I neglected Canadian comedy for all these goddamn years, let me go support a little bit more.
As
Let
long
me
as they
put
haven't been watching Zoom shows, yes.
yeah, exactly. Otherwise, we're all fucked even more
Yeah.
than
You're like,
before.
oh, maybe we'll get into a
Maybe
different kind of
yeah,
music.
yeah. You know what? Music's always better, anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that's definitely been
Yeah, a
the
lot of them
difference.
are double vax too in the States, and they just don't, like, they kind of don't care, I found. I was
Yeah.
told at the beginning of COVID to either to get online or fade into obscurity. Like I
What do you
was
mean,
told,
like just
like to
hiding?
do something, like do something, do a show, do Zoom shows,
Oh
do
yeah,
like TikTok, do YouTube,
right.
get out a camera, do something,
Something, yeah,
or else you'll fade away. So that wasn't
yeah,
the first time I've gotten the answer that it sort of weeded out.
for sure.
So do you think our attention spans might be shorter now? I'm wondering if an actual show, like the show are going to be different? Like, are we going to have four or five comedians, or are we still going to do like the opener, middle, headliner?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I feel like if anyone's learned anything in the comedy world, is to not to to book people based off merit more than just like trying to meet requirements of like meeting a quota, for instance. Like, because that I feel like that kind of kills it in a way for a lot of people. And I just like there's a general consensus I've gotten over the years from just people going to shows and watching them. They're like, I don't understand why this person's on the show. It doesn't make sense. It's like what I thought. Like, why isn't this person headlining, or why is this person like doing more time than this person? And I'm like, I feel like more people who are actually working on their craft, their skills, and honing their stand up abilities should be looked at more rather than like, oh, because this person's a person of color or this person's that or this person's this, they should get a spot ahead of you. I personally, I'm technically a person of color, but I don't really see it
You
that way.
think
I
it should
don't.
go to the funniest person,
It should always be the funniest person,
not the quotas? Okay,
but
I
also
understand what you
not
mean.
all straight white guys. I get it. Like, you want some diversity too. That's nice, but also, what do you want me to do? Like, if someone's not funny, then why should they get a spot? The comedy, stand up comedy means you have to be a funny guy, you have to be a funny girl, or whoever you are, and just be funny. Like,
Yeah,
that's the whole
nobody's
essence
ever.
of stand up comedy.
I've
So
never walked away from a comedy show going, "Wow, that was awesome diversity," right?
yeah, exactly. But
Yeah,
that's not the point, though. That's not the. I personally don't think that's the point. I'm sure there should be diversity in many different areas of life, but doesn't I feel like that shouldn't be a requirement for comedy specifically, but that's just my
Yeah.
opinion. I don't know.
There are also a lot of, oh, no, I agree with you. You don't want to have like the straight white male lineup between 30 and 50, showcase. Like it's not
Right.
like, you have to go out. I've been lucky enough that because I produce shows. So
Yeah.
and I'm in Thunder Bay. So I have to
Okay.
really consider when I bring
Wow.
somebody out here, like I'm flying them out, putting them in a hotel, like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
getting a large room. So I'm very conscious of
Mm.
finding funny people and not filling quotas. And I'm just lucky
Yeah. As
enough
you should,
that enough people apply
for sure.
every year that I can go through.
Definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't really have any options in Thunder Bay, so
No, there's that guy that
that's
works at the grocery store. That's kind of funny, but he still won't open for me. It's the
yeah. And
weirdest thing.
the all the Persians,
The
you
per-
guys got to eat over there. Yeah.
oh
It's a little
yes, no, we
scary for
have.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of quotas, we have a lot. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you knew Persians. That's awesome.
Of course. I went to Thunder Bay 2 years ago for the first time, and I was absolutely shocked that there is a place that sells Persians.
Just
Like when
Persians.
someone like literally like someone told me they sell Persian, I'm like, what do you mean you sell Persians? Is it human trafficking? Like
Yeah.
I'm Persian. Like what do you mean? Like am I being like ambushed
Where
right
can I
now?
get an Italian? That's
Yeah.
that's
What do you?
amazing.
Are
You
you
guys are.
fucked?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when I finally went to the place, I forget the name of the place, but
The Persian
um,
man.
it's called the Persian Man.
Yeah.
Oh right, it is.
It
Yeah,
could have been
yeah.
it could have been that. It could have been another like a yeah, there's
Yeah,
lots of places that just sell
no, that's the one.
Persians.
That's the one. And it has, and the funniest part, it has an Italian chef on the logo. And I'm like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
going on here? But like honestly, it's one of the best donuts or whatever the fuck it is I've ever had. So
It's not a donut. No, I'm just kidding. It's just
yeah, I
like
know. Yeah. Well, croissant. What is it? Not a croissant.
I don't know. It's
cinnamon bun, something like that. But whatever.
I think a donut would probably be. I mean, for taste value, like that's probably the closest.
That icing is crack.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Do
Yeah.
you? Okay, so actually, probably, do you find that you're having friends? You're so like steady. Do you find that you have friends that call you up, or if they're having a hard time? What kind of advice do you give to any of your friends that were having as an entertainer, entertainers maybe having a hard time with what was going on with what's been going on? Because it's been 14 months.
It's been a while. Yeah. I honestly, I'm all about consistency and just trying shit. Doesn't matter. I'm under depression, and I tell this to myself just remind myself to it helps me keep going. Where I'm like, all honestly, none of this matters at the end of the day. Like we're all gonna die at some point. What I put out one day, no one's gonna remember a week from now. Who cares what I'm? You know what I'm saying? Like no one. First of all, no one gives a fuck about you. I'm not saying about you or me
Yeah.
specifically. I'm saying just in
No, no,
general. Like
I actually I agree when I gave that up, right? That's like nobody really gives a shit. Nobody's watching you unless they think that you're like really funny or cringy or whatever.
doesn't matter. Yeah, even if they do, even if they love you or hate you, it's like either way, you have to just do what you want to do. Otherwise, there's no point in doing anything because as soon as you start losing sight of the purpose of why you're even doing what you're doing in the first place and start catering to what people want or they think are funny or what they think is good for you, you've lost it. Yeah, it's not sustainable long term. So a lot of people get caught up in the ego of all these people want me to keep doing this video or this material, so I'm just gonna do this. But that's when it becomes too saturated and you kind of lose it. But like you have to remind yourself that people comedy is subjective overall. So one person might like something, but another person might absolutely hate it. Or one person might think something's racist, another person might think it's the best thing they've ever heard in their entire life.
And people aren't
So
stupid. If you're not authentic, like you're
yeah,
not scared to be cringe. I'm not scared to be
yeah,
cringe.
no,
If you're not authentic, people aren't stupid. They'll see
no,
right through it. So something that
100,
did work yesterday, if you try to recreate it, it's
no,
that. Yeah, I agree with you too.
100%. And that's the thing. Like people, and the biggest thing for me is I just put shit out. Like I don't even think about it anymore. Like I'm not. I actually stopped caring about what the optics of everything looks like. Like if I think it's funny, if I put it together properly, and it makes sense. I'm putting it out. And the thing is, I'll post something, and literally an hour later, I'm on to the next video.
Yeah.
And like in terms of posting the next video or even working on other things, like I'm not even like caring about how the video is doing. I care in the sense of like, okay, like check up on it here and there, see how the engagement is, blah blah blah, talk to some people and interact. But overall, like you can't worry about other people. You have to selfishly worry about yourself in that scheme of things. And And with the anxiety people have over, oh, what's this person gonna think? Oh, it doesn't look good enough. Oh, it's not. It's not. No, we're missing the scene, or we're missing a line. No one will even pick that out. No
Mm.
one's gonna notice those things. You're noticing those things, and so action cures anxiety, honestly. So
Oh, I love that. Action cures anxiety. I'm a stand-up comedian with severe stage fright. And
nice.
so I know, right? So I just like worked it into my thing, right? So I kind
That's
of like
great.
stand there, I look kind of nervous. I don't take the microphone off.
Hmm.
I look like I'm
Nice.
weird and I don't belong there. So I just worked it in. So people come up later
Yeah.
and be like, oh my God, I love your whole like, I'm an idiot
Nice.
shtick. I'll be like, yeah,
Right.
it's a shtick.
That's me.
Yeah. But I love it. And I miss being around comedians and I miss the green rooms and I miss the scene.
Yeah,
Um,
me too. Yeah, big time. Like,
uh,
there's a whole other like world that we just kind of got robbed of,
yeah.
unfortunately. But
Are you doing the outdoor? You probably have bookings now for outdoor stuff. You're not going to do that either.
no, I'm at, I don't know. I feel like what I've built over the past few years, especially with online and everything. I feel like I one thing I value the most at this point is my time, and a lot of people aren't comfortable saying that of like maybe and saying no to people. I've had to become really comfortable. That's a big thing I've learned this year is
Yeah,
saying
I'm
no to
really
people.
surprised that you were doing this actually.
Oh, really? No.
When your manager said, "Yeah, you'll do it," I was like,
Yeah.
"Sweet, that's yes."
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we never want to. The number one thing of all this is we never want to take attention away from our audience that we've built over the past 6 7 years, right? This whole reason I'm here is because of other people building my brand up, really, right? Like without people watching, I'm not here. And so I never want to be that guy, that content creator or comedian or whoever who like kind of keeps promoting shit like every day on their page, like it's a commercial ad every 2 seconds. And so, in terms of like doing other people's shows or like events that don't pay well enough that we value, it's not worth it for us because I could be doing 7 videos in the span of the same time I go travel to one of these shows and do 10 minutes of mediocre material in front of people who
Who don't
don't really
care?
care, or like it's like bad acoustics, it's like not set up properly, there's people yelling and back and people are running outside, it's outdoor, right? It's a public area.
Yeah,
So that's the way we see it. I'm like, okay, instead of me traveling an hour just to get to a show, wait for another hour to get on or whatever, waste gas, not even get paid for the show, right? And then travel all the way back for what, 10 minutes,
yeah.
right?
And as somebody who brings people out or who actually pays comedians, I'll tell you
Yeah.
the
Very
complaint.
rare, thank you.
Yeah, well, the complaint about comedians kind of lowballing and stuff
Oh
is
yeah,
not
big time.
really. It's not incredibly valid though, because all you have to do is be good, and you'll get paid, right? Like people are gonna, you're not gonna come out because you're cheap. You're gonna come out because I would bring you out here in a second.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, no, I'm not
That'll be great.
bringing you out here. I do with the comedian of the North. I was actually surprised even when because I went back through our messages and I was like, oh my gosh, and he'd applied for that.
Oh really? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really think
Yeah.
that's incredibly valid because the really funny ones, the people like you that value your time and value the craft and value the art, are you guys are getting paid, and the other ones that are kind of falling off anyway are because they've got friends in the industry.
Yeah, and because people want to suck up to other people just to get a spot. Like you're literally a weasel, just trying to like, oh, like please, like whatever, I'll do whatever just to get 5 minutes on your show, which does
Yeah,
nothing for them. And I did that myself for like a couple of years at the beginning, so I know how it is. But I realized earlier, luckily, than a lot of other comics who fall into this trap of like trying to like make other comics like you just so you can become friends, just so you can get a booking here and there, and what, you're gonna do this for 8 years? Like, no, I'm not in that game. So
mm.
I don't know.
um,
I just
yeah, okay. So I had these. Shoot, I already asked them. I've got some fire questions just that I sort of ask everybody. I don't give you enough time to answer them because I'm rude.
love it.
Mostly
More rude the
it's just
better.
good. And then later, I'm going to edit it to make you look like an asshole. I'm just
Fuck
kidding. I'm
yeah.
not going to do that. I won't do that.
Please make me look like an asshole because I don't give a fuck either
I
way.
know, right? You're like, I've been canceled 8 times already. It's
Yeah,
fine.
legit. People try to cancel me every day. Like I nothing will come.
Well, I'm going to ask you real quick. What is your take on cancel culture? Like,
I have to take a sip of water before I
yeah,
answer
I
this
know. I
question.
wasn't. I That's the question I was looking. I was like, oh, do I want to go? You know what? I want to go there. You don't
Yeah,
care,
yeah, for sure.
so I'll ask you.
I love talking about this. I'm very passionate about it. First
Okay.
of all, I think it's all a scam. I think it's all bullshit. It's all in your head. It's all honestly, how can someone cancel me when I'm not canceling myself? The platform is free. I'm not like what happened? Someone, let's say 100,000 people fuck Neema Naz for some reason, which will never happen. Like what? Like I'm just gonna stop
It just
posting?
makes you more
No.
popular. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna actually double down and post 4 videos a day instead of two. How about that? You
that's
know what
right.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like it won't affect me. Like especially because you know what? Like all these people who get canceled. Obviously, there's a difference between someone actually doing a crime and someone who says a wrong thing 10 years ago or some bullshit like that, right? So, but it's like I know my true intention. I know my context more than anyone else. And what I know is I'm here to make people laugh, entertain them, and that's what brings me joy every day. That's what
What
makes me happy.
And that's what you need
That's
to do.
it.
If you're a comedian, you need to make people laugh. If you're an artist, you need to make art. Like if there's any time that we
Yeah.
needed us right now, and arts community, music, all of that, just bring it now. So
Yeah, exactly. So
there was a recent uproar with a
mhm.
comedian he was videoed doing like this racist rant, and I thought, I mean, that's horrible. I mean, that set a terrible precedent.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Well, I
What
mean,
what comedian was this?
um, it was the shoot. I don't have a clip. I
Like
had it actually prepped before.
in
It was
Toronto?
it was in the news.
Or
It was you
really?
know what? Just a second, because I'll cut this part out.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
it,
it was a
it was an
comic like
Asian
from the
guy. It was a comic that,
oh
and then he
yeah
ended
yeah
up like
yeah
losing, like he had sponsors and stuff, and he
yeah
ended up
yeah.
like he actually got canceled for it. And I thought,
Oh,
if anybody
Tony
shows up at
Hinchcliffe.
one of these after dark things, or any of these shows, and I've put on like kind of no holds barred ones. I thought if somebody had been recording, and then or somebody did, like if somebody took my bit like on abortion and put it
Out, yeah,
online,
out of
and
context.
yeah, like I would be in trouble, like a lot of
Yeah,
trouble.
of course. But that's the thing. It's I know, and it's Tony Hinchcliffe. I remember that. I saw that
That's
video.
it. Yeah, I was looking
Um,
it up.
I mean, yeah, like the thing is, sure, maybe what he said was kind of fucked, but I don't know. At the end of the day, also, I feel like a lot of comedians, especially comedians, should understand that like kind of I believe that anything should go on stage. It's as long as you have the intention of this is a joke.
Yeah, well, I had the
So
Rank and Vile show out here with Kenny Robinson. So
okay, yeah. So you
yeah,
know, yeah.
and yeah, I got a smaller room, right? I
Yeah,
said
as you
no
should.
refunds.
Yeah, yeah.
This is offensive.
Yeah, as you should.
Yeah, okay,
But
so
I don't know. Either way, it's like the best way to put it, honestly, with cancel culture is if if every single time you posted something and people hated on it and said "fuck this guy," and you listen to that, what else are you left with? Right? You can't listen to everybody. You have to
mhm.
listen to yourself. So that's just the best way to put it.
Are you monitoring more what you say now and how you perform and things you put into your content because of the last year and people getting canceled, or
No, I
no?
actually
You
have
just
I've actually gone harder into that world of like being a little bit more pushing the boundaries
oh
because
wow.
I'm actually the one thing that no one will ever take away from me is that I'm unapologetically, authentically myself every day,
Yes.
online and in person, and that no one's ever going to take that away from me. I really value that a lot, and I'll never self censor. Um, so I've actually once I've learned that more and more throughout the year, and just realized and done the research on cancel culture and just in general how to deal with people and human behavior. I've just decided, and the fact that once again no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
I've realized
Yeah.
I'm just gonna dive more deep into who I am and show that
Yeah.
online because I like doing it and I know my intention. So
Yeah. You're not a Kardashian. You're not under a microscope anyway. Then
yeah, well,
I'll
maybe one day.
maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe I'll get a BBL as well. Nice fat Brazilian butt lift, and I'll be on my way to start
There will
it.
be no stopping you, but then you'll have enough fans that, somebody will
Yeah,
say something and then they'll just get the beat down in the comments
exactly,
and then
100%.
you're like, "Yay, activity."
Yeah, I know.
That's my algorithm. Have
That's
you
fucking yeah.
when was the last time you cried?
It's a good question. Um, the thing is, oh, okay. Well, I cried like 2, 3 weeks ago.
Why?
Um, I was just super. I had a big argument with my mom actually. Funny enough, like
Oh,
because you
what
see my
did you
mom.
do to her? What?
No,
No, I'm
no.
just kidding. I'm gonna side with her immediately. I don't even know
Yeah,
why.
I
I've
know.
never met the woman.
It's not
What
my fault. She hit me first.
what
No,
did
okay.
you do? Yeah.
No. So we just like the thing is with like online too is as like as much as I show myself online and I am myself and same with my mom. Obviously, we're not gonna show like the bad because like I'm still a human. Like I still have emotions. I'm not just Neiman as the clown or the fuck people think.
We just
I'm
like to put that out there.
you just have to put out things that are fun. That like I'm not trying to bring the mood down, but I do have emotional moments too in my house, and sometimes I talk about this shit all the time on my own podcast where that's the platform that's appropriate for this stuff, right? So, but I don't. That's the thing. Like not a lot of people know that. So I guess for this purpose, like there is a much more emotional side to me. Like I do have anger problems sometimes. I swear and I yell in my own house, like if I'm pissed off at something. But like I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not intentionally trying to hurt people around me or like physically, obviously, but even verbally. Like I'm just more so just doing that for myself to let out my own anger. And I'll just like yell at myself like "fuck, man," like like oh, like shit, fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll never like throw a plate, but I'll just yell into the abyss.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to let out emotions too, help, and it's very healthy. And obviously, there is, I feel like, a certain way to control them better rather than just like lashing out all the time. So
Rather than explosive anger.
explosive anger, yeah, I don't. That's the thing. Like I'm not a fucking animal. Like I'll still respect like the people around me, and like I'm not gonna fucking start throwing shit and yelling in their face and stuff. But um, I think it's important to let shit out as well, like whether it's anger or crying, sadness, or disappointment, like whatever. Like the point is to just have more outwards communication.
Yeah.
And
Actually, no, sorry. I think I saw this on your podcast. Did you get into like a thing with somebody? Was that you?
um,
Shoot, I hope it was you. Somebody was
what
setting
was
something
it?
up and you guys got into like a little snit with each other. It was really good.
Oh, what? Oh, was it
Oh,
like
it was like
like?
5 or 6 months ago and you guys were
And
live and there was three of you.
oh,
Was there
oh,
three?
and
Was it?
then what happened? Like
I thought
there
you
was an
guys were like
argument?
snotty with each other, like you guys
Oh,
are all snitty with each other. I was like, that's so fucking awesome because you guys are like real people. So
oh, yeah. I don't,
shit.
I don't, I don't remember actually, but I don't know. I don't know if I ever did that on like a podcast or anything. But I've certainly talked about stuff like this all the time, and yeah, I sometimes like I'm an emotional person.
Yeah. Well, you
Uh,
have to be a creative. I
yeah, yeah,
understand, right?
yeah.
Like when was the last time then that you felt like murdery? You
Oh,
got like
murder. That's
really
a good one.
pissed.
Um,
It's
honestly,
it's actually one of the questions I ask everybody. I've just
oh
never been
really?
so excited about the answer before.
I know, right? Yeah. So, what's your address again? um,
I am really far away. I'm not.
I will run there. That's
I
how
am
fucked
really
I am.
far away.
No. I've had like murderous thoughts, but I feel like everyone has that. Not like I don't mean that in like a literal sense, like I'm gonna fucking plan to kill someone, but it's like you know those
Yeah, I
like
don't mean literally either. Like
yeah
this isn't a
yeah
setup or something.
yeah
Ask
yeah
him
for
about
sure
his
yeah
brother.
yeah exactly yeah it's all recording anyway, so I'm fucked. But no, um, like like everyone when they get like heated or they get angry, you always like how you create these scenarios in your head where like when you're having an argument with another person and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, like I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna fucking do this, or like let's say for example like sometimes I'll get mad just at my own self, or if I'm doing something that's not working I'll get pissed off, and then like randomly I'll just have these thoughts where I'm on the street or something like that and I see like a guy beating a dog,
Oh,
and
I
like
feel
that will
murdery right
bring
now.
I get rage stuff. Like I'm like I actually imagine myself like in this scenario where I will go over and possibly kill the guy because that's obviously exaggerating, but you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's those are the murderous thoughts that I have. It's like, but like everyone has that. I know a lot of people who think like
People
that.
have different triggers. Mine is the same as animals. As soon as you said that, I was
Yeah,
like, I'd kill that
I hate
guy.
it. I can't stand violence against pets, like just like animals in general. So yeah, because I have a dog myself too, it's a little biased, but it's like those are the thoughts sometimes where I get raged, but I have to calm myself down and be like, all right, realistically, if you do that, like you're fucked.
Well,
You're
comedian
gonna
of
go
the
to
north
jail.
is the comedian of the north is always for a dog rescue too. By the way, just so you
Oh
know, like
really?
it's yeah, it's
Oh
always
nice.
a charitable thing. So
Oh that's cool. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I love animals, man.
yeah, they're so
But
non-judgy. I wish. I would.
I know, right? They actually kiss me
Oh,
rather than
yeah. They don't
not
care. I
getting
come home, I
kissed.
look like shit. I yell, and then they don't care 5 minutes later. I don't even have to apologize. Like
Yeah,
they're
except
just
I
like,
do because I still feel bad. That's how empathetic I am.
oh, um,
But
give name one thing that that you got away with. Maybe that you wish that you didn't.
like you mean
There's
like
something you
what?
got away with. Something you're like, oh yeah, I got away, and maybe it
Oh
wasn't a good thing.
like a crime?
Like a crime, maybe like telling
You're right.
somebody off. Maybe I'm trying to
Oh,
think of
okay.
what other people have said, like things that
Um
maybe I could
yeah.
actually rephrase it even.
No, that's good. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean like thankfully I haven't done anything that's criminal.
Yeah.
But I actually, the times I actually have done things that were crimes, I did get booked for when I was younger. And I got suspended from school. I had to do some work with the police and stuff like that. But it wasn't like anything serious. It's just like stealing shit, um, which is serious,
Which is
by the
oh
way,
yeah, no, it's
but
not.
not as serious as killing people.
That's right.
Um, but
Which you
no,
also haven't done.
which I also haven't done. Yeah, yet. Okay. Um, no, maybe if I see a fucking guy beating a dog, maybe, but no.
That's right.
Um, gotten away with. I think there is something. I'm just forgetting it.
Yeah, what about what is what is your biggest goal that you've missed or that you haven't accomplished yet? Like if you set something out for yourself and like a swing and a miss.
Oh, well, honestly, just to trying to get my videos out there. Like I haven't had a big viral video yet,
No?
like a big
There's-
one, like a massive one, which
Oh
I
yeah,
really
no.
want. Not just to get the clout, but it's just because I feel like I deserve it, and I feel like I've just been working so hard, eating shit for six
I
years.
am very surprised that you haven't had something viral. I on TikTok I had one that went to 1 million,
That's
and
good.
that was when I kind of lost a little bit of interest after that,
Yeah, yeah.
all because of the constant bans and stuff. But
That's annoying. I know, yeah. But that's the thing. Like for me, because I've been doing this videos for so long, like hitting 1 million views, I've gotten a couple in the past 2 weeks on TikTok. But like even I don't see that as viral. I see that
no,
as
you're
just like
talking
a
like
good
super
video.
viral.
I'm
Like
talking about like everyone in the world is talking about it for like 2, 3 days
yeah.
or a week, right? So, and that will happen. I feel it happening soon or one day soon. I just like I manifest this shit and I work towards it, and it's just one of those things where I've been trying for so long. Hasn't happened, but it will. You know what I mean?
Then you
So,
watch some guy drink cranberry juice on a skateboard and go, "What the hell just happened?
brand deals. This guy
What
has
is
a
going on?"
mansion in Hollywood, like fucking millionaire. I'm like, what? But I can't complain because that's the way the world is, and it's not my path. I'm on
And
my own path.
it wasn't his first TikTok either, right? So it wasn't his
I
first
mean,
thing. And I
kind of. It was like one of the first few.
yeah, well,
Yeah, but
uh,
honestly, that doesn't matter. Like before, I'd be super jealous and compare myself, but it's like everyone's on their own path. Also, like some of these people, they don't actually have talents. Legit, it's just because something they did randomly popped off because
they
it
put
was
on a
like
Chewbacca mask and
I don't
laughed
know
for
something.
15 minutes or
Yeah, legit, exactly. So it's like I know what I'm doing here, and I know I'm trying to do a slow grind forever. So it's like I'm not even worried about that shit. It's like eventually, it'll work out.
yeah.
So that's it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Awesome. This actually this gone long. It's like twice as long as I needed.
What
But
did?
Yeah, I think we're at about 40 minutes. So I thank you
Oh,
so
if you have
much
other
for
questions,
being
I don't
here.
mind, answering them. I mean, I'm enjoying this conversation.
Yeah. Oh, okay, good then. Yeah, I will. I didn't want to take up a pot like all of your time because you could
No,
have made like 14 TikToks in this amount of
I,
time.
I will after this. No,
Oh yeah.
um,
um,
got a few more minutes for sure.
oh, sorry.
I have a few more minutes for sure. Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
cool. Would the world be a better place without guns?
Mm, yeah, yes and no. I feel like only like law people. Well, I don't know what the right term is. Law enforcement.
Yeah.
I think only people of in the law world, law enforcement world, should have them. No one else. Like,
So government.
but I guess maybe yeah, government or like people like I mean like police officers or like FBI or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck. Um, but also before we get into the gun conversation, there should be a whole conversation of proper training for guns. Because if you don't know this, in Germany and a couple other countries, their training to be able to use a gun is up to 1 year, rather than in over there in the States, it's 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's what it is here. I think at least for
And
the RCMP stuff
yeah,
in training in is that in Regina?
yeah.
It's part of a it's part of their program of like over
So
a
I'm like,
summer or something.
and then you see the stats of gun violence from here compared to there. It's like night and day. And
Yes.
so it's like, oh yeah, obviously it's because of the training. So that's I feel like should be the main priority here, rather than the gun conversation.
I think it's
Whereas
almost the mindset because
that,
if you
yeah,
look at road
exactly,
rage there, if you look
yeah,
at,
yeah,
I mean, their gun violence is high because they all have guns, but I don't know if Canadians would be shooting each other at intersections because somebody pissed them off at a red light. Like I don't, I
yeah. Who knows? Honestly, and it's just like I don't know. I, I just think there's I don't know. I think it's unnecessary to be honest. Like why do in general why do people need to kill other people? I understand it's the people who are actually fucked and they want to murder people. That's a
mhm.
different conversation. Those people are just they should be put
we
into
we have we have jails and stuff
places.
for people like that. Like you can't just walk around wanting to kill
No,
people.
there should be some kind of rules, general consensus of society. Okay, this person does this, they have to sit here in this room, jail, right? Right. So,
Yeah.
but I feel like I don't know. There's been such a almost glamorization over guns
Mhm.
for obviously decades and generations,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's the problem starts from that.
So, and
But
as a non-violent, you non-violent, non-gun owner, somebody that and you say you don't drink and you don't do drugs and you don't smoke. Comedy is really all you have, right? No, I'm just kidding.
and my
Why did you
dog,
decide and your dog? Why did you decide not to use alcohol or drugs? Like I mean I don't drink. I had to quit drinking, like for the betterment of the universe, because I trust me, it's a lot better this way.
I
What
know.
made you decide? Like, does alcoholism run in your family, or you just it wasn't for you, or because of your metabolism?
There's yeah many things, many factors. One, I wasn't raised in a family where we just have casual drinks. It was like almost foreign to us. So maybe you'd have a glass of whiskey when you have family parties, which is like once every like month or something, right? Even then, though, it's like kind of like Persian culture, like Middle Eastern culture, they're very strict, right? So already it's kind of like not a sin, but it's almost looked down on if you
Frowned
drink a
upon.
lot, or yeah, frowned upon if you drink a lot, or if you smoke weed. But oh, you're the devil, like it's gonna kill you, which is not
Yeah.
true. With weed, I actually have nothing against weed. I think it's actually could be very helpful um, with the right mindset. But alcohol actually has bad effects, and it's scientifically proven that it is not good for you, at least for the most part, right?
On my
So
independent study of one, it is not good for you.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. There you go.
it is,
Here's a prime example right here, right?
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, so I just never, and I honestly, frankly, I never really enjoyed the taste of any of it either. So luckily, I have that. I could just like I don't drink. Like I'll drink maybe twice a year, and I'll be good. Like I don't think about it. I don't care to do it. And also with comedy, I don't want it to become a crutch like it does to a lot of other comedians. and I see
Yeah.
how it plays out, and I
You've
don't
never
want to
done
do that.
coke in the bathroom at a show,
No,
clearly.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I'm better
Heroin I
this
have,
way.
but
No,
not
you're
cocaine.
not. Oh yeah, exactly. Well, that's the funny thing is I don't so I don't smoke pot, I don't drink, but I will do like mushrooms and stuff. So after Community of the
Which
North
is
had some
good.
house parties at my place, yeah. So I've been like tripping out on mushrooms, like, and somebody will go to like pass me a joint, and I'll be like, oh yeah, no thanks, I don't touch
Yeah,
that shit. That's
yeah.
no, that stuff will
I
kill you. That's a
yeah.
gateway drug.
And I think there's just a whole misconception around like certain drugs too. It's like some of these drugs actually can open up your eyes and your mind to better things. I personally don't do them, but I can see that, and I just know from other people around me who've done them and their experience and everything, and I'm willing to try eventually. But it's like, yeah, I don't really rely on stuff like that. And
I
yeah,
Yeah, really honestly, and I'm not joking. I've done it for therapeutic purposes. I find
mm,
that because I'll
yeah,
I'll
makes
spin out,
sense.
and I do have the anxiety stuff.
Yeah.
And you said that you do have anxiety sometimes. Have
Mhm.
you ever been to the edge?
Um, like, what do you mean? Like the point where?
What your definition is? I
Mm,
mean,
yeah.
for example, like some people have been there, but they had kids, it brought them back, or
Oh, okay. Yeah.
kind of
Right.
they were just spinning the fuck out. I mean, and it's totally different depending on what your version is.
Yeah. Um, there was a point in my life for maybe a couple of years when I was at my worst before, pretty much before the pandemic, where I would just, my mind would be like all over the place. I would be like super paranoid about a lot of things. I would be very anxious. And like, if I say something to someone, I'd be thinking about it for like weeks. If I said the wrong thing, or if like, oh, what did this person mean by saying this? Or I had a lot of sexual anxiety too, where if I like hooked up with a girl or whatever, I would immediately think I had diseases like right away. It's like I have all the STDs. It's like,
I have all of them.
yeah, I have all of them actually. I'm fucking cool.
Collecting the
No,
alphabet.
yeah, yeah,
HIV, Hep
yeah,
C, A, B, C,
herpes.
D.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I literally that and it got so bad where like I hooked up with one girl and I literally for 6 months straight I couldn't do anything. I was paralyzed by the thought that I could have an STD. It was that bad. But obviously this whole time was nothing.
Mhm.
And but that's a whole other conversation about just how the conversation and the education behind all this stuff comes from, right? So I never was even taught about sex
I was gonna say,
from
do you
anyone.
feel that because of like, is it a cultural thing, an educational
Yeah,
thing? Why didn't you know about these things?
yeah, it's just because in our culture it's so taboo to even bring up sex, drugs, alcohol, partying, just things like that, right? And that a lot of people do over here in Western civilization. And I had to learn sex through porn, which is obviously fucking toxic and not
What are you
right.
gonna be when you grow up? A plumber.
How do you know that? You're so
I'm
young.
gonna be
Oh,
a
I know.
There's gonna be lots of opportunities if I become a pool boy.
Yeah, pool boy, and I want to deliver pizzas, like
Deliver
shirtless.
pizzas.
Yeah, no. So it's obviously you can see the problem there, right? So that's what that's how I developed all those issues, the anxiety issues from stems from childhood till,
Yeah,
you know.
how did you get over them? Like, was it just like education or?
Yeah, a lot of education. Luckily I had my brother around to help me out a lot with all that stuff. He's more of a grounded individual. He's older than me too. He has a lot more experience, and he leads a lot more with logic, and I'm the opposite. I lead a lot with emotion. So obviously I'll get in my head way quicker than he does, and he has to be the one to kind of bring me back down to earth. And the main thing here is that without having someone to talk to, I would have probably been more fucked. I would have been probably down a spiral by now. But having someone close to you that you can talk to openly and be vulnerable about these things really goes a long way. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and you got to spend the time also with your family, which is great. Like with, I mean, other than getting into fights with your mom, but
yeah, and my dad, yeah, exactly, yeah. But like it's just natural. Like I don't know, families have arguments all the time, right? So it's like
yeah.
I'm still human. Like that's the whole point. Is like I want to show people too that I'm not afraid to show that. Yeah, I also fucking go through the same shit you
Oh
do.
yeah, no,
I'm not.
my dad and I fight. I haven't talked to him in 10 years. Like we are really good at this. Like we have got this nailed.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
We're on top, baby. We're
that
on top.
that's right. Yeah, between my brother, my mom, and my dad and I, we haven't all been in the same room together in like 20 years. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we all fight.
Hey,
But
I feel you.
I mean, okay, so I'll wrap it up now. Then thank you like so
I
much
have a
for your
question.
time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have a question for you.
Yeah,
What's the main thing you've taken away from talking to comedians on this platform?
I didn't I didn't have anybody to go through COVID with. I was by myself and I was fresh off of a breakup like 2 weeks before. So I had to like sit by myself and figure out what I was, but, and I'm like you, I'm like very, very emotional. So I just tried to fill my time. Like I painted the whole interior of my house. I was keeping myself busy. I started like the TikTok account and I realized that I was really suffering at the beginning. Like, yeah, I was in a really tough spot. So I was speaking with friends who are also comedians who also had the same thing. They were going through that as well, and I thought, well, I wonder if they'll want to talk about it. So calling it Over the Edge was sort of a joke, but it was also incredibly fitting. So what I found with comedians since I've started that we are a lot. I thought that we were kind of vulnerable anyway. Well, now it's been confirmed without a doubt. And I find that the creative process is helped incredibly by our emotions. But unless they're under control, we can spiral. And some of us have, and some of us, some of us are like you, where it kind of improved. But and everybody's just really excited for everything to be opening up. So cool.